What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Sal, aka Herf, and welcome to episode number 4 of Eye on CI with Herf. So why are we so laxed? Why are we kicking back? Because we're taking it to the south, Nashville, where we're going to dive into what we call the meat and three, which is your meat and 3 sides, and it's all Southern comfort food. And we doing that with crown heads, meat and 3. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Herf where the vibes take place. No clouds of hate, just a smoke well just one cigar at a time, go and savor every taste. Shine through the brim, man, humble in the quest.
Alright, y'all, so let's be honest. Everyone likes themselves a little Southern hospitality and hella Southern barbecue. And typically, you go hard, just throw it on the plate. How about we go country fried steak, mac and cheese, some fried okra, and some cornbread. That sounds hella good to me. So the concept behind the Crown Heads Meat and 3 is just that. Comfort food, something savory, your usual go-tos. Auntie cook it in the kitchen, grandpappy in the back on the grill that ain't been cleaned in years, because that's that added flavor on them grapes. He might start a grease fire, but it's okay. He can take care of it. But that's the meat and 3. Crown Head threw this out as their budget-friendly stick. Now, I'm smoking the Robusto 5x50. And then the quick stick breakdown on this is it's an Ecuadorian wrapper with Nica binder and filler. And that's Nica as in Nicaragua. And right up front, first light up, it's quite pleasant. You get a little bit of pepper, you get some woodiness, a little bit of earth. But definitely there's a little bit of a dark coffee note. Let's see what that retro's got. And a real pleasant retro. Definitely has that backyard barbecue. You're cooking on maybe some mesquite, maybe some hickory wood. It's definitely bringing that element to it. And I like that. It's really pleasant. It's nice. It's not super complex, nor is this cigar supposed to be. Remember, it's a budget stick. Something you ain't gotta think about. We're gonna let this marry a little bit, but right now it's that pepper, some woodiness. There's definitely that, like I said, it's either a hickory or in smoked oak on the grill. Kind of gives you a little bit of meaty of a flavor if you think about it, but it's kind of nice. So I'm gonna let the flavors on this marry a little bit. Maybe come back with a little bit more info. So grab your plate, tuck that napkin nice and deep, and I'll see you back at the kitchen table. All right, y'all, so let's break into that first third. We're about here. Solid burning, smoke output like you smoking on the Oklahoma Joe. So for me, my meat and 3 is gonna be, we're gonna go with moist and brisket, because y'all know there's 2 sides to a brisket. There's moist and there's lean. Lean is cool, but moist is where it's at. You feel me? Moist. And then for sides, I'm going with, man, you gotta hit the mac and cheese. I'll probably do me a side of sweet potato fries. Man, what's that third option? Man, maybe even a potato salad. To be honest, when I throw down on the barbecue or I go to barbecue, it's usually just one meat, packed high as hell, and maybe one side. And you know us Southern people down here love us some sweet tea. Now that's a meal. Definitely there's some espresso notes. It's earthy. There's a little bit of pepper. I would say white. It's very faint. It kind of on the draw. You'll feel it. As you exhale, it'll linger around for a few seconds and then slowly dissipate. And definitely, I'm gonna go with smoked oak. It's not quite a hickory or a mesquite. I'm gonna go with oak. And on that retro, it's more of that smoked oak, a little bit more of a pepper kick, and some earthiness to it. It's quite pleasant. You know, it's not super complex. It is definitely, you know, I wouldn't say dark. I'm gonna go with tan flavor notes. It's burning great. And overall, it feels like it can amplify into somewhat of a hearty meal or a hearty cigar. Now it's rated to be around the medium full range. And sometimes I kind of think that, you know, when you research online, they tend to side on the caution side. So they usually claim like a medium full or a full, when really it's going to be a medium plus. But definitely flavor wise, I'm going to go with about a medium plus in flavor. And as far as strength right now, we're sitting at about a medium. You know, we're on cruise control. We're kicking back in the lounge chair. Like I said, Grandpappy's on the grill. He's firing it up. One thing you can't forget about is ribs. Damn, nothing like a rack of ribs. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm not a super wet rib person. Like, don't dunk my ribs in sauce. Just don't. Get a nice little dry rub. And if anything, put the sauce on the side. But if you're gonna douse my ribs in sauce and serve it to me wet, yeah, no, it ain't for me. I know there's others out there that are gonna talk that mess. But you know what? Something about a good dry rub, maybe a little bit of sauce on the side, spritz some of that apple cider vinegar. Yeah, boy. That burn line. Now, I ain't told y'all the price of this stick yet. And if you're watching this video and you already hit Google, you probably already found out or can figure it out. But you only find these at CI. Pull it up. You ain't got to think about it. Hell, this could even be a great yard guard. Kind of give you a little insight on where that price point is. Yard guard. You ain't got to think about it. Great wrapper, great construction, great burn, and you got flavor. If you have to put it out, you gotta put it down. You're not gonna feel bad, I guarantee you. And in fact, I'd probably go as far as to say, you can put it down, and if you gotta relight it, you're still gonna get some flavor out of it. But again, that's just me. This is all about bringing information and new cigars to y'all that you can walk into your local CI and pick it up right off the shelf. I'm gonna keep going on this. We're gonna break into the second third, see what transitions. Right now, it's still sitting at about a medium plus in flavor profile for me. Again, we're not fucking barbecue pit masters here, but it's definitely a great cigar. So keep holding on, keep grubbing on that meal. Don't eat it too fast. We may have dessert coming up, and I'll check back in with y'all when we get into that second third. Oh. Right before I was gonna show you the construction on this bad boy at Ash. Damn. But for those that care about the ingredients in y'all's meal, that Ash held up. And it held up strong until I bumped it right before I brought it to y'all. That's 8 error, y'all. My bad. But I did take a picture. So maybe I can kind of B-roll it in there so y'all can check it out. But damn, I'm usually not an Ash game guy, but it was holding strong. But we are here. As I previously showed you, we're breaking into that second third on the Meat and 3 from Crown Heads. And this is a good cigar for its price point. the flavor profile, the construction. It's a good cigar. Solid, good cigar. I wouldn't mind picking me up a few as, like I said, some solid go-tos. Hey, let me grab these. I don't need to think about it. I'm gonna go kick it in the backyard and, you know, mow my lawn or wait for Unc to finish up them ribs. But going into the second third, the baking spices, if not apparent up front, they were real subtle, so I couldn't pick them out, have kind of stepped in a little bit. There's still some earthiness. There's still some smoked oak, or definitely some smoked wood. I'm going with oak because it's not hickory and it's not mesquite. Those are very definitive. And it's not a cedar note. So definitely smoked oak. On that retro, you get a little bit of a cedar zest, but it's still that smoky, a little bit of a meaty flavor, which is quite crazy to me, where you can kind of pick up on a meaty flavor, a hearty, meaty flavor. And definitely it's going to be along the lines of like a red meat and, you know, almost like pork. The flavor is there. So quite surprising to me. That's the first time I can actually pick that up. And the reason I can kind of reference that is we had barbecue not too long ago, so I know what I'm talking about. So super dope. I'm really enjoying this cigar. Again, at its price point, you just can't beat it. Crown heads. I'm a big fan of the crown head stuff. You know, I didn't so much like the Mil Diaz Maduro, but I did like the natural. That smoked way better. And again, you know, they're up and down the course. They've got the La Pâtissier, which I will be reviewing later on. They've got the Four Kicks, which was a great cigar. They got the Mule Kick, which is a more robust, a little bit more hearty of a smoke. I don't know the makeup of it, but it's definitely a bit on the bolder, stronger profile. That is a great cigar, and I believe that Mule Kick comes out every year. And I had the 2024 version, and that was really good. But overall, back to the meat and three. You're definitely getting a hearty meal out of this one. You know when you walk into Auntie and Unc's house, or Grandma, Mima's, and Grandpa's house, when you sit down and they're cooking their best, you know exactly what you're getting, and you don't got to think about it. And that's exactly what this cigar is. You can pick it up. You know the flavors are there. You don't got to think about it. You don't have to overcomplicate it. You know, it's there. I'm going to keep smoking this down. I'm going to get past the band and into that final third. Right about now, definitely barbecue vibes, meat vibes, and just a good time vibe. I'm going to burn that bad boy down. I'm going to check back with y'all. Hopefully you got a nice plate of dessert lined up for the final third, final wrap up, and we'll call it a day, y'all. I'll check back in with you soon. Y'all know how you always got that one family member that shows up to the party that was uninvited and always starts some BS. Yeah, they showed up. So as much as I was enjoying this in the first and second third, as we transitioned into that final third here, it got dark. And it got dark real fast. Coming into that final third, that meaty, that nice smoked oak has turned into more of a darker char. There's been some leather grit that's kind of come in that has not taken over, but there's a little bit more there than I would personally like. And the woodiness along with that charred oak has just really taken over. Any sort of balance is kind of just burned in the fire. It's in the charcoal, it's in the coal, and it's kind of done. But first through the second, up until that transition point, this was a good cigar. It was really good. It's just this tail end, you know, by no means is a dessert. So don't let it ruin your, you know, don't let it ruin your dessert. You know, chocolate chip cookie a la mode with that vanilla bean ice cream, that peach cobbler, whatever your vice is for a sweets after dinner. Don't let this cigar. Enjoy that. I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna give it one last go. And yeah, the flavor profile is just not there for me on this final third. But up until then, it was great. Now, when you get into the price point, this is definitely sub $8, sub $9. You can expect the world. I find it very, very hard that you're gonna find a cigar at this price point where it's gonna be from first light up to final third, that there's either not gonna be some muted flavors or a drop. And this fits the typical profile that when you get into that final third, it just kind of drops. It ends up either charred, muted, whatever the case may be. That's just the nature of the beast. But I would still reach for one. Now knowing that in that final third, that's it for me, that's a good enough smoke. We're looking at about 40-45 minutes of smoke time on a sub $9 cigar. So take that information, take what you will. For me, that's gonna do it for me on the Crown Heads Meeting 3. Yeah, I'm still puffing on it. Don't worry about it. I'll put it down in a second. We're still having a moment. But stay tuned to YouTube. More shorts coming in as they pop up. Usually that's on the ride home. Those are always fun. I like doing those shorts, some quick little things. I'm kind of messing around with some ideas on that. I had the cigar quickies with Ape Herf. I wasn't really in the format of that. So I'm just kind of going with the flow and throwing spaghetti at a wall and see what sticks. More Ion CI, definitely stay posted on that. We've got more legacy brand reviews. We got some boutique / craft, I'm not sure what they're calling these days, cigar reviews. I've got a couple special ones coming up. I picked up quite a few actually. So content's going to be coming. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, share it with friends, share it with Pap that's smoking cigars, and sit down in a chair with them and show them a YouTube video or two. Show them mine at least. But yeah, lots more content coming through. Who knows what may happen, what's in the works. My mind's always ticking, so stay tuned. I'm glad y'all sat with me through this. I definitely appreciate y'all. Oh, by the way,
Welcome to the Herf where the vibes take place. No clouds of hate, just a smoke well dressed. One cigar at a time, go and savor every test. Shine through the brim, man, humble in the quest.